Focus is brought to you by Envision Financial, where achieving your goals starts with the right advice and financial tools to help you thrive. Welcome to another episode of Women in Focus. Our Woman in Focus today belongs to Envision Financial. Now, she doesn't belong to them, but she works there. Her name is Alexandria Villafane, and she is a business banking advisor, and she is our Woman in Focus today. Alex, you're most welcome in our program. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much for first having me here. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. So, especially, where did you get this name from? Mom and who named you Alexandria?
My name has always been a thing since I've been little, and it's the funniest thing ever. We are 100% Punjabi. My parents are 100% Punjabi, and from what I understand is they loved the name of Alexandria.
Okay.
My brother has a proper Punjabi name, right? Proper Punjabi name. I'm the firstborn, and I get Alexandria, and I cherished it. I loved it.
Yeah.
Right? But, within the community, it was very much like, what's your real name? What's your
real name? That's right.
What's your Punjabi name?
Yeah.
What's your middle name?
because a lot of people who come from Fiji have their kids' first name Western, their middle name Indian, and then their last name. So what was your maiden name?
So my first name is Alexandria. My middle name is Manjeet.
Manjeet.
And then my maiden name, so prior to marriage, is Jima.
I see.
Yeah.
So it was Alexandria Manjeet Jima.
Yep. And I used to love it because back in the day, there used to be a movie theater called AMC Theaters.
Yes.
And I was like, my initials are AMC. I am part of the theater. So used to enjoy it.
So were you born and brought up here?
I was born in Alberta.
Okay.
I was brought up in Canada for half my life.
Yes.
And then my parents were very much into small businesses and expanding, and they drove us down to Florida one day for vacation, right? In the middle of January, so we're from Alberta.
Yeah,
and in the middle of January, it's disgusting, right?
Yeah.
So we go to Florida for holiday after Christmas and everything, and I'm telling you, I think it was that year we moved straight down to Florida. My parents are like, I don't know why we live in the cold. Why do we do this to ourselves? We're going to the warm. So the wonderful thing was they exposed us to many different places.
Really? That's beautiful.
Yeah, for usually you're always at one place. You stay in one place and that's it, right? For establishment and growth and the kids' schooling and everything like that, right? But my parents were awesome at taking us to different locations, small towns, big cities, and then they put us in the States for our middle school and high school years, and it was wonderful. It was totally different.
Okay, right? Looking back at it right now, wonderful. Going through it at that time, was it good?
I think for my parents it might have been quite difficult. For us, me and my brother, we were in school. It was.
There's just two of you.
It was just the two of us, right? Besides my parents, and we had a blast.
Yeah, I bet.
Right? We're in middle school, we're in high school, and we just had a blast with that. But my parents, it was a little bit different, right? They're establishing, families all up in England or Canada, so it was more lonely, and also trying to understand the differences. They're from England, so you understand the ways of how to live life in England, the British way. Yeah. Then you move to Canada, and now you're learning the Canadian way, right? And then now it's the American way, totally different way.
3 different cultures. And then on top of that, being Indian.
Yeah, on top of it. And they thought we were Spanish back then.
So that is cute. Right. So right as a child, you learned to be a multilingual, multicultural person.
Exactly. Fit into any situation, get thrown in, create new friendships, create new bonds everywhere.
I guess the advantages of moving around is that you get to see so many different places and at a young age.
Yeah.
The disadvantage, only I feel that, I don't know how you, I'll ask you how you feel that, is not having a friendship that lasts from your childhood to your adulthood.
That is 100% true.
Yeah?
Yeah. I really embrace the fact that we got to experience so many different cities and so many different places. But you see people who have those friendships that lasted since kindergarten or whatever it is, and they're still going strong. And you never really have that.
No.
So, but I'm still happy.
And that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Being happy somewhere, wherever you are, and make the best of it, right?
Exactly.
So, what age were you when you came back to Canada then?
20s.
Really?
Yeah, now it's time to go to university.
Yes.
It's time to look at marriage.
Yes. Oh, and were they very particular about who you're going to be getting married to? Because
No, my parents were awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, my parents are wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah, so.
And they said, go date and all that.
No, it wasn't that. But
You see, I was just waiting for that.
no, it wasn't like go do what you want. Still very strict.
Yeah. So yes, yeah, we want you to get married, but we will approve, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Right, and my parents did very strongly want a Punjabi man, and go through that piece and embrace your culture, embrace everything, and don't let it go. But it wasn't meant to happen. But I fell in love with a Spanish guy.
So you fell in love with a Spanish guy.
Somehow.
Wow, that sounds like a beautiful story coming up. So let's take a short commercial break and come back.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Alex is our Woman in Focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Women in Focus. Our Woman in Focus today is a very interesting woman. I love her name, Alexandria Villafane. And she, born and brought up as a Punjabi young woman, but going all over the world, well, the world in our, context is America.
Yeah.
Going everywhere and meeting a lot of people. And parents hoping that she would marry a good-looking Punjabi boy, and she married a good-looking
Spanish boy.
Spanish boy. So Villafane is a Spanish name?
Villafane, I think, is an Italian background.
Okay.
But my husband is from South America, Argentina.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how did you meet him?
It was at work, not Envision Financial, but long time ago. We used to work at the same location.
Right.
And it just bloomed into something that was undeniable.
Did he think you were Spanish too?
No, I'm too crazy to be Spanish.
Okay, I won't go there. So when you told mom and dad about this young Spanish guy, what did they say? Who did you tell first?
I think it was mom. I think it was both at the same time. I'm not too sure. I don't remember, but it was, as expected, it was very difficult.
Yeah.
It was a hard
what was
road.
it? I'm always very interested in knowing, because when I was in England, there was a young guy that I liked very much, but I couldn't even. I told him, I said, we can't see each other because my parents won't allow it.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't even go forward with it, and I used to wonder if I did tell my parents, how would I tell them, and what would they say? What would be their reaction? So what was their reaction? You did tell them.
Yeah, their reaction was very, very, very expected.
How could you do that?
Yes, how could you do that? Why?
Yeah.
We're not within the culture. What are people going to think? That kind of stuff. Very disappointed.
Yeah.
The natural reactions that you do expect from this kind of news.
Of course.
And they were wondering, is this the right thing? And all that kind of stuff, right? But
what does he do?
What does he do? What's going on? Why is this one the special one? All that kind of stuff, right? And then the first initial blow to my parents was, holy, right? Like, this is not going to happen, right?
Right.
And everything is not going to happen. But the best thing about my parents is they saw what he was all about. They took the time to actually see what he was all about.
Oh, wow.
And they actually took the time to really understand from me. Like, don't forget, everybody was involved. The whole family was involved. Masia talking to me, everybody was talking to me, right? Are you sure? Is this what you want to do? Da, 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 right?
Was there any crying?
There was tons of crying. It was typical, right? More crying for me, but the wonderful thing about my parents, though, is they took the time to actually try to see what's going on, right? Yes, they did say no right away, and they did say that's it, right? This is not happening. You know, whatever they could say to, but then as our heads started to cool a bit, time went by a little bit. There, and you know, whatever conversations that they had together as a wonderful, loving couple, they were like, you know what, let's sort of figure it out. And that was a wonderful thing about it, was they were trying to give him a chance, right? They might secretly not like him underneath, right? But they have given him a chance, and they have cherished him, and they have allowed him to come into the family on all fronts and be a part of everything, which is something that you can't always expect.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, and I am a fighter. I like to fight for what I believe in, and so do my parents. Right? So do my parents.
That's why you're their daughter.
Right? So, but it was really, I can never say enough wonderful things, because they took the time to try to figure it out, right? The best for their daughter, their only daughter. Right?
So how did was the wedding traditional?
The wedding was traditional.
Wow. Yeah. And his parents agreed to that?
Yeah, everyone agreed to everything. It was 100% Punjabi wedding.
Yeah.
One of the Godore in Surrey. Did the reception Indian style. We did all the events Indian style, everything. People came from everywhere, right? So it was proper Punjabi wedding to our best abilities, still incorporating, or maybe not incorporating, but more simplifying some things as well. Right? That's what I would say, is simplifying.
Beautiful. And I understand you have kids.
Yes, I do.
And how many?
So I have 4 total.
Wow.
Yeah, so I have 2 wonderful stepsons. Right, from Diego's side.
Right.
And they are in their 20s, and they've graduated high school, and they are the darling little, they're just proper, they're kind, they're generous, they take care of whatever they can.
Right.
And then I have 2 daughters with Diego, and they are 10 and 11, and they adore their brothers. And they're awesome. So all 4 of them together are wonderful.
That's beautiful. That's such a beautiful story. And to talk about this story in our brand new year, it brings so much hope and positivity to human relationship, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So I want to talk to you about your profession. You're with Envision Financial, and how did you get there? But let's take a very short commercial break and come back.
Okay. Sounds great.
Alex is our Woman in Focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Women in Focus is brought to you by Envision Financial, where achieving your goals starts with the right advice and financial tools to help you thrive. Welcome back to Women in Focus. Our Woman in Focus today is a young woman who works for Envision Financial and business banking advisor. How did you get into that? Were you a person roaming around all over America? Yes, I can understand why you got into money. How did you get into it?
So funny. So when I was in financial industry before. Okay. And then all of a sudden I started having Anjali and Ava, my children. And I decided when I had them, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go back to work anytime soon. I'm going to stay home. So I stayed home for 7 years and raised them as much as I could and did the best that I could, right? And then now it was time to get back to work. Okay, 7 years later, I had a wonderful manager prior to me leaving my previous organization. He's like, you know what? Come on back and let's get into business banking. And I was like, okay, let's do it. I've had parents that have always been entrepreneurs. Fully understood their struggles and their backgrounds and what they went through and the different industries. And I was like, yes, this is a great fit. So with that came over to Envision Financial as a business banking advisor.
Wow.
And since then, I've been involved in assisting businesses grow.
Very nice.
Start up as well, right? And assist with their day-to-day banking to make it easier for them. And also when it comes to their financing needs to help with their growth, I've been there.
You know, I always say that a business's success relies on many things.
Yeah.
The most important one is a good financial institution that looks after them.
Yeah.
And when a business falters, I know there are many reasons why it falters, and some of that could be the business person's own fault. But it's the financial institution not looking after them that they falter. And our financial institution, apart from credit unions, have become all owned by the East. They don't even have personal managers looking after any of your accounts, right?
Yeah.
It's very automated.
Exactly.
And I don't think that is happening at Envision Financial. You guys are
not at all.
You know, right there.
We're right there. And, you know, for a prime example for our business members, during COVID, when COVID had first started, a lot of organizations were offering the Canadian small business loans, right? Sorry. And a lot of it was automated. It was through an email or something like that. But we called all of our members that were attached to us.
Wow.
And we said, you know what, apply. And we assisted day by day to help them with the application.
Very nice.
And we held on to that relationship to make sure that they were okay. And right now there's also floods going on, you know, within BC. And we're trying to make sure that we stay in contact with those businesses, the farmers, whatever it is that's involved in Abbotsford and Chilliwack, to be able to know that we're there for them and be a part of the community and make sure that we're not there just to be there when you're good. We're there during your bad times as well, because we don't want you to falter.
No.
We want you to be strong.
And in your profession, I guess are you attached to only one branch?
I am attached to a couple branches.
Okay.
Yeah, and majority of us usually are.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you are, you know, not spread too thin, but you know of other areas as well where people would need your help.
Exactly.
What sort of help people have asked for during COVID times? There have been many businesses that have gone under as well.
Yeah. So basically the first one would have been the Canadian grants, the Canadian loans, right? The government sponsored ones. And from there is just seeing with their previous financials how we could support with extra financing right now to go through all the wage ups and downs and the service ups and downs and the business ups and downs, right? So we've been able to provide different loans. We've been able to provide increased lines of credits. And you know what, don't get me wrong, there's been a lot of successful businesses during COVID.
Right.
A lot of people have done a fantastic job because now development is up.
Right.
Supplies for development is up. Some service industries are up as per construction or renovations, right? Building. So those ones are just booming, and we're there to support them during their growth right now. So
it's very interesting. So whenever there is a downturn in one industry, if you think outside of the box, you can ride that down wave and go up, can't you?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what some people have done.
Yeah. Like, who would have thought toilet paper would have been such a fantastic thing to be involved?
That's right. Or hand sanitizer.
Yeah. But the wonderful thing with hand sanitizer, right, as you bring that up, a lot of businesses who weren't able to now provide a certain product as per the liquor industry, they would get into hand sanitizer, right? Or some restaurants that weren't able to have their doors open.
Right.
They would have bottling stations to now fill up hand sanitizer to get them onto the shelves.
Isn't that interesting?
So that's wonderful. You see how during a downtime, how people who do think out of the box and do think, you know what, there's something that I can still do here for the good of everybody, is I'm going to use my business for that. And so they'll be a little bit down, but they're really going to be up in many different factors. So.
And probably they might even leave that particular profession and get into the new one.
Right.
And if that goes down, come back to your base.
Yeah, what you know best, right? So small business owners, large business owners, their minds work so intriguingly that you're just like, wow, it's wonderful to be around those kind of people.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Running the world. No, no, to be honest, I was a small business banker, and I just recently, with Envision Financial, got a promotion into commercial financing now. So larger businesses. Thank you. And really, I see myself in that position for the next 5 years.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that is a position that I want to grow in and excel in and be the best I can be in.
All the more power to you, my dear.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being our Woman in Focus today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This was a wonderful conversation.
I enjoyed it immensely. And I'm going to be bringing you back again as well. I love your name. I think your parents are very adventurous.
Yes, they are.
And give my best regards to them, Alexandria Villafane. Thank you.
Thank you.
She has been our Woman in Focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Every week, we meet a new guest in Women in Focus. Next week, we will be talking to Aurora, who is an accomplished salsa dancer. Here is a little clip from next week's program. Women in Focus is brought to you by Envision Financial, where achieving your goals starts with the right advice and financial tools to help you thrive.